Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Collaborator Hub podcast. I am your host, Mpumelelo Mkize, and this is a podcast for all the freelancers to really elevate their businesses with the skills we share on this podcast. We really want to elevate the community, and for today, I have an amazing guest. So, we have one thing that many businesses struggle with is getting themselves noticed in a crowded marketplace. And today, we have someone who's going to help you solve that puzzle. We have the founder of the Imani Consult PR management firm. We have the start of the Inside Out campaign. And we have someone who was nominated as the JSI Top Young 100 Personalities for 2024. We have Imani Ndaba. So, Imani, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you so much for the introduction.
Think you had to add a little spice,
Yes,
add a little
sounded
something on
good.
top of it, on
Sounded
top of
good.
it. But before I start, I'd like to ask, what does your name actually mean? It sounds very unique.
So my name is Swahili. It
Okay.
means faith.
But in Zulu, it actually means wait,
Wait, yeah.
which is
It's kind
it's
of
very interesting. But that actually works with PR, does it not?
it does in a way. I think we have to wait for a lot and have a lot of faith. So I guess my name was very fitting for my job.
Well, hey, it was written in the stars, so your
Exactly.
parents knew you were coming into it.
They
I actually
should.
wanted to ask, how exactly did you get into PR, if you don't mind me asking?
So I think I've been doing PR my whole life. Just in essence of I've been very involved in pop culture. I was always involved in anything cultural in my school, which leads back to public relations.
For sure.
But then towards the end of my high school, I started the Inside Out Girls campaign. And with starting a campaign, you can imagine there's a lot of PR that has to go into that. There's a lot of stakeholders that you have to deal with. And so that was like my official foundation for PR. But ultimately, I was trying to make money and I could not find a job. So I was like, you know what? What are my skills? Okay. Research. Oh, okay. Public relations. What is this? So after some research, I was like, you know what? I think this is for me.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it was God's plan, really. Hey? I
Amen,
mean, even
amen.
my name, so it
You
was
see, you
God's
see,
plan.
you already
Yeah,
saw it. No Drake.
exactly.
But I actually wanted to ask. So now that PR is something which people have a lot of misconceptions about. Well, for me, growing up, I always used to hear that PR, you only need PR when you're in trouble, which I'm sure has caused a lot of mistakes and people to make many bad decisions. What are the
Yes.
common misconceptions or mistakes you have seen in your field as you've been operating?
So for one, I have walked into so many meetings, and then the client or the potential client rather is like, here's the marketing lady or here's the advertising lady. And I'm like, hey, whoa, marketing, advertising, whoa. So it's like a lot of people think that PR is either just there to get you very famous or they mistake it for marketing or advertising.
For sure.
And then also, like you said, a lot of people think it's just crisis management. So people just get there like, yo, my sex tape dropped. Like, I know, okay. And like, now I must just make a miracle. So those are some of the misconceptions. I'm pretty sure there's a lot more because I've heard funny things, but I think those are probably my top four. Yeah.
It's actually interesting to speak about that. What exactly is the difference between PR, marketing, and advertising?
Okay, so to be fair, why people probably get it misconceptualized so much, they're very similar. But in terms of them being communication channels. But with PR, the communication is very much two-way. We have to gain the public's recognition and make sure that the public is aligned with either the client or the brand.
For sure.
Whereas with marketing, you're usually marketing a service or a product. So it's very one way. It's we make the ad, you must like the ad, you must buy the product.
Okay.
And then also with advertising and marketing, they're very similar. I'm not going to go into the differences. It's not my show.
For sure.
But then in the sense that they're very short term. So you'll have like a 3-month marketing campaign, a 4-month ad campaign, whereas with PR, it's consistent, it's ongoing. You're constantly building that reputation with the public. You're constantly making sure that the public knows at what phase you are at in your career or what phase your business is at.
For sure.
So, yeah, and then also the two-way thing keeps coming back.
Wow, that's awesome. So basically, PR is not only for big companies.
No, it's not only for big companies, it's for big companies. I mean, PR could be the guy selling oranges on the streets, him walking around saying, Orange, Turan, Turan, Turan. That's a form of PR, you know.
Ooh, okay.
Him telling his friend, I'll give you 2 oranges, and just communicating and making relationships on the street and making different relationships with distributors. That's also a form of PR. So anyone can literally use PR.
That's awesome. I actually wanted to ask, so what do you actually look at when you are looking at a presence or an online presence or a profile that actually shows you, okay, they have a good message and a good profile? What exactly should freelancers look at on their own profiles to ensure that they get to that same level of knowing that they have an authentic profile or presence?
So definitely one is going to have to be structure.
Okay.
So a lot of the times you'll get to a page and there's a lot going on, like you do this, you do that, you do this. But if you get to a page and I can immediately tell what is happening on that page, that already is saying, okay, the online presence looks good, because it's like if I walk into a business, I don't expect to find the kitchen chairs in the reception area, or the CEO's chair right at the entrance. You know, there's a certain structure. So one, having structure, and then two, I think definitely in a world full of bots and AI, I'm going to want to see what the people are saying. So think about your favorite celebrity or your favorite friend even. So when you see their picture, you're like, yo, my friend, you look so good. Then if it's just that other influencer that you kind of like, but it is what it is, probably just like it and put a heart. So if I see that your comments are full of, oh my gosh, I'm rooting for you, and there's like a lot of context within your comments, I can see you have a very good relationship with your community, then that shows that you have very good online presence, as well as obviously shares,
sure.
small nitty-gritty. But I think those two take top priority.
Okay, that's a really good and exhaustive explanation. But I do have a question. So let's say someone is starting from ground zero. They have an account, let's say 60 followers, it's a bit all over the place. What are, let's say, 3 quick actions you would make them do? Say, okay, I want you to do these 3 things to help start getting them in the right direction.
Okay, the first thing I would do, like I just mentioned, structure. So I'd make sure that everything is structured well, and that leading back to what is their story? What are they trying to give the public? What are they offering the public? So many a times I will get a client and they're just like, this is me, put me on radio. I'm like, hey, boo, who are you? What do you do? Where do you want to do it? What platforms are you doing it on? Who is recognizing what you're doing? So that structure plays into all of that. So one, I would say, okay, let's get a structure together.
Okay.
Two, I'd say let's get a plan together, because if you don't plan to fail. If you don't have a strategy, you're going nowhere. So I'd say let's get a plan together. Let's see where you are, where you want to go, and what avenues of PR we can use to get you there. Then once we start that, we're going to look at what is the most, like, let's say you don't have a budget, since we're starting from ground zero, what is the most least form of this plan that we can start and begin to execute? Okay,
sure.
social media is free. Let's open accounts and make sure that the structure and this plan that we've set out is now spread across different types of social media handles.
sure.
So then now when people come to your page, for example, I'm here today because I think I have some structure. Someone looked at my page and said, oh, we're looking for someone who can talk about PR, and said, okay, you know what? Come through. So that already is opening an opportunity and opening more ways for you to communicate who you are and what you do.
For sure.
So those are the first 3 things that I would recommend for someone starting from the bottom.
Cool. Started from the bottom, now they're gonna be there. Awesome. Now, obviously, you're not always gonna be on social media. Sometimes you have to find ways to promote or improve your PR outside of social media. So are there any channels or any tactics that you have to improve your PR outside of social media?
Yes, definitely. So I think the first one people have neglected a lot since social media came into the show, but Google and YouTube, which all falls under Google, are the biggest search engines on the internet. So it does not make sense for you to not make sure that you have a presence on those platforms. So with Google, it would be blogging, reaching out to other bloggers, because starting a blog is a bit difficult, to gain the audience, but there's so many blogs that are already established and they need content. So if you go to a good blog, I'm putting you guys on. If you go to a good blogger and you're like, okay, you know what, I do sports, you hit up about 10, 15 sports blogs, you say, listen, this is my story, this is what I can bring to your audience, this is a story I have, these are some tips that I have for your audience, or I'm from this area, I want to give my insight on what sports is like in South Africa versus another country. You just come up with a very good value proposition to give a blogger per se, a YouTuber, a podcaster, etc. Because essentially we use Google for everything. You will go and Google today, maybe you go and Google PR and then you're going to find this podcast. But if I had just been posting on Instagram, you might have not found it so easily. So that would be the first one. And I think also being on those platforms then allows you to enter different spaces like radio and TV. So I always like to tell, especially my clients, radio is 24 hours. TV is 24 hours. That means they need 24 hours, 365 days a year of content. If you're saying something that makes sense, if you have a story to tell, someone is going to be willing to broadcast you. So even if you send 100 emails, send those emails, send those emails. Someone will listen to you. The thing about, like we said, my name is Imani. PR needs faith. It needs a lot of waiting, So it's important for you to just be consistent and keep reaching out, but always make sure that your value proposition is strong enough, because at the end of the day, we need the stories, but if there is no story, if there is nothing, then we can't put it on. But if you have the story ready, keep reaching out.
Okay. Speaking of reaching out, to get on these blogs, for instance, and as an example, it will require you to build relationships with these people so you can create these opportunities. So how exactly do you go about doing it without it being pushy or unprofessional? Because it's hard, because you're reaching out to someone you don't know and you're trying to get on their blog. So how exactly do you operate in these PR spaces and their relationships as a freelancer? How should they move in these spaces?
That is a good question, Mpumelelo. I think for me, there's probably a lot of relationships, I must admit, at the beginning of my career that I burnt. Because someone once like, bro, I'm about to block you. Stop sending me these emails. And I was like, yo, hectic. Okay,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry, And I also have to be very sensitive when I'm representing a client, because now the person on the other side is seeing my client, and then now they're like, yo, lo muntu uyadina, yabo. So then that's not cute. So over time, I had to learn and say, okay, you know what? I'm only going to reach out on different platforms maximum 3 times or maximum 5 times if I really feel like they are just not seeing me. I must just find another way to get their attention. But there's times if I've sent you a DM and it says seen, you need to let it go. It means they don't want. It means you need to re-evaluate what you're selling. You need to re-evaluate the way you're saying it. Today we have ChatGPT. Go ask ChatGPT, like, what is wrong with my message? Why are they ignoring me, So I think it's very important. There's a very thin line between consistency and trying to get what you want and irritating and being too pushy on the other side. So you have to be very careful with that. It's not cute.
Do you actually mind, if you have one example of a situation where you've seen someone overstepped or where you see someone went about collaborating with someone the wrong way? You don't have to put names, you don't want to expose, just...
Collaborating the wrong way in terms of a PR collaboration or in terms of being pushy?
Either or, both. Hey, whichever you think would, so that we know what not to do with...
Fair enough. Well, I do have one of my clients. I think I could say her name. Her name is Tessa.
Okay.
She's an actress. So she has like a workout program of sorts.
For sure.
So we're always looking for people to collaborate, which is why you'll see where the story goes. But we're always looking for people to collaborate. We're very open because it is an open platform that's supposed to encourage everyone to work out, essentially. But there was a certain someone who was really pushy in terms of, okay, I want to also be tagged when you tag the other people. Oh, I also want this and this. And we were just like, okay, and it's a very small example, but I assume maybe that person either wants to get into the acting industry or, the fitness space. And so they really were fascinated by.
They were fangirling.
Yes, you see. So she was just like, yo, I just had to block them. And then the person went on to send me an email, send her spouse an email, send some of like basically anyone she could find with connection. She was like, I'm going in. I was like, mm-mm. So we were like, block. Everyone was like, block, 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 block. But imagine if I walk and I see this person, I'll be like, yo,
it's gonna be tense now.
You know? So I think that was a very that was weird.
Jesus, I can only imagine, and you have to deal with this on a regular basis.
Exactly. So when I was saying be consistent, I was not saying be a stalker.
No, I get you. And speaking of your campaigns that you've worked on many awesome ones, like the Uncle Waffles Red Dragon campaign. You've worked on the Fushini Christmas glitter campaign as well. What are some tips and tricks you've learned from those campaigns, where obviously they are big brands and businesses, but what are tips that even smaller brands or smaller freelancers could use in their businesses as well, or to push their brands?
I think I definitely, because first of all, let me point out, I never got to study PR at an institution. I did do a few courses here and there, but not anything official. And I think what drew those brands, and most of the brands that I work with to me, was my innovation, my quick thinking, my new thinking. Because a lot of the times they work with bigger agencies that have been here for 20, 30 plus years. And so a lot of their methods are very old school, you know.
Yep.
Before 20 years ago, we didn't have social media. So a lot of bigger agencies don't know how to implement social media. So I think definitely my innovative thinking also, because like I mentioned, I started the Inside Out Girls campaign. I had built quite a lot of relationships from that. And so basically what I'm saying is my network and my innovation, my new thinking got me into those spaces. And I think a lot of brands are looking for that right now. A lot of companies are looking for that right now. So if you're, whatever business you're in, whatever you're trying to do, you need to think innovation. You need to think what's new. Because think about it, how often do you see the exact same thing on your feed, the exact same thing on your TV, hear the exact same thing on your radio? So if you go to someone and you say, you know what, I have a new story for you, I have a new angle, they're going to be like, oh, I'm listening, you know? So I think being innovative, building your network, being in spaces like the AM Studios, being in spaces, there's so many networking events, being at brunches, being in different people's offices if you can, you know, so that when you get a certain client or a certain brand or you're doing something, you know, oh, I can call this person, I can call that person, that puts you in a very good position.
Speaking of brunches, aren't you hosting brunches actually as part of your Inside Out Girls campaign?
Yes. So the Inside Out Girls campaign hosts the How to Her brunch. We host 2 a year. So one is happening in May and then the other one happens in October. And essentially it's just a platform where we bring different thought leaders to come speak on a specific topic then they assist the young woman in business. Because I think it's 20% of businesses in South Africa are young female owned. So that's a low amount because young females are the majority of the country. So the maths is in mathsing. So we created that platform to allow women rather to network, to learn more about their business. And then we also obviously equip them with different tools. So we have investors coming in. We have different people that they can speak to, financial advisors that can help them with their businesses.
Oh, sounds great.
Yes.
So for all of you guys planning to go, October, for those that are going to be here when it comes out, May as well. So do get your tickets ready for that event.
It's free.
Ooh, even better. Just free and show with your bellies empty.
We don't want anybody unable to attend, so we make sure that we make it free.
That's awesome. That is amazing. And now, just speaking on relationships, now many times freelancers or business owners, they get greedy with opportunities. They want every opportunity. But with PR, there's always a thing of fit. You need to match the person you're trying to build with. So how do you handle, or how do you look at the fit between you and a client?
It's a very tricky one. I think at the beginning of my career, I had to align with anyone and everyone because, like I said, I was looking for jobs. I was like, I need money. So anyone that came to me, I was like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And I think that tarnished a lot of relationships because they didn't understand what they wanted. We didn't align. I was still learning, and it just created a lot of chaos where it shouldn't have, and it didn't have to. So now, in terms of my process, I always have a consulting session with clients.
Okay.
So I'll speak to the client, get a gist of where they're at, where they're trying to go.
Okay.
If it is that it aligns with me, I'll let them know. And if it doesn't align with me, I'll let them know that it doesn't align with me right now. I can't take on this project. This is not something that I can do, and then it won't work. With regards to my clients and what aligns with them and the relationships that they need, we often have meetings amongst ourselves. Okay, this person is approaching. Does this person align with your brand? Okay, they align with your brand. Will we still be able to work with this person in a year? So is it worth it for us to go into this commitment? Because don't forget, public relations is so relationship built. For example, till today, Chris Brown and Rihanna are still paired next to each other, despite them not being next to each other for about what, 15 plus years.
Sure.
So it's so important that, okay, we're looking at this person, we're like, yo, this person's brand is looking scary. It's looking like it's on the down low. I don't think we can align ourselves with this person. Or no, we can align ourselves with this person, but we have to do it strategically. Let's not make it too formal. Let's make it a bit, yeah. So I think it's very important to assess correctly.
Okay,
Yes.
so do you mind me asking if you're, I hope you're not revealing names, what are some red flags you look out for whenever someone wants to collaborate or you work together? Because freelancers are always trying to collaborate with people or work with people. So what are those red flags? You're like, if I see this on a profile or I see this in a messaging or I hear this, already it starts looking shaky.
I have a list, I have an actual list.
Okay.
So one of the first things is anything pertaining too much to fame. So if someone comes to me like, yo, I saw you put this client there. I also want to be on this TV channel. Okay. Hey, I want to be on this radio station. Then it's a bit like, okay. But if a client comes to you and they're like, no, I have this EP coming out. I need to go on a few radio stations to get my reach. Could you recommend any radio stations? Or this radio station I think will work for me because of such and such. Then I can see there's a lot more context, there's a lot more thought and strategy going into it. But if it's like, when you just want to tell your mom, go to mama, I made it, I'm on TV, then, it's not going to work.
It looks suspicious.
Yes, very. So that is the first thing. Another red flag is a lot of people don't want to pay. So, and you can catch it from the beginning.
Freelancers pain right
No,
here.
it's really tough. So, as desperate as you can be, it's sometimes better to neglect a non-paying client, or if you can see that this person is not gonna pay, because you're gonna find yourself doing work for 3 months or whatever time period you guys have, and now you're busy begging for your money. And we all know the money conversation is already hard as it is, and now you have to beg someone for your money. It's not cute, and you've already done the work that you cannot take away from. So I think it's very important. If you see they don't, just tell them your price, see how they react. If they're like, you're like, is it something you can do? They're like, yeah. You're like, I saw you.
You flinched.
See? So I think it's very important to take note of that. And money, what else? I think I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
For now.
Now, just to elaborate on money, obviously you have to set your own prices because you are PR and you have your own set of values and how much you charge. How do you go about doing it in a way where it's not, you're not trying to take the whole house, but you want to get something which is worth your time? How do you maneuver those negotiations over price and value? How do you operate those? How do you?
Okay. So when I first started, I had a flat rate for everyone,
For sure.
which does not make sense.
No.
But after speaking to my mentor, because I couldn't find anyone in my space who was willing to tell me how much to charge.
For sure.
So after speaking to my mentor, she explained to me that, sometimes in business, when you're not too sure what to charge, it's better to create packages and then create different packages for different sources of income.
For sure.
So have a lower end package, have a middle class package, and have a high class package. So then if you have a client, for me in my PR space now, if I have a client that is needing PR nationwide because they're on a national TV program or something like that, they'll definitely be on the higher end. If I have a client who's on a local radio station, they'll be in the middle class. Then if I have a client who's on the lower station, if I have someone who's maybe just starting from fish, or it's a business that they're trying to bring up, then I'll be like, okay, you know what? Let me put you on the lower end. So essentially, you look at the work, obviously, but create your packages to assist yourself and to assist the client as well. And also, never feel guilty about your price. Once you've set your price, run with it. I mean, don't be delusional.
For sure.
If everyone is like, then consider that. Yes. But if you've already gotten clients and you've been getting clients, do not be afraid and don't get hustled. Like, unfortunately, we're not abo, but we're not like the local shop on the street where they're gonna be like, like,
my
no,
friend. We're
don't
not like, my
you
friend.
see? I don't want to say that. So, like, don't put yourself in that position, always be stern and be straight with what you have, especially if you know that you're bringing value to the table. Don't let a client play you, please.
That's the plan right there. I hope you heard that, guys. Do not let them play you. But also, you can't charge R1 million if you just started. So I understand. Right. But now, just getting to crisis management. Yes, I said people only think PR is needed when crisis management or something is still part of it. So how exactly should freelancers or small brands or people with starting to get their reach out there, how should they approach whenever they get negative feedback or they start getting some backlash online? Let's say you have a client, like you said, they are tape leaked. It's the fires are burning. So what are you doing? You get a message, hey, I've got this is on, what do I do now?
Okay, so there's a lot to it. Let's break it down.
For sure.
So the first thing is, I've gotten a lot of people waking me up at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., like, I have a crisis. Okay, what's wrong? Hey, this person said my content is ugly, my sister. Crisis where? Do you, calm down? So first, let's differentiate between what is a crisis and what's not a crisis. So if it's not going to affect your brand, like if it's not going to, let's say, put the exchange rate of your brand down, it's not a crisis. Okay. 1 bad comment is not a crisis. 5 bad comments is not a crisis. The entire comment section being against you,
now there's a problem.
Now there's a crisis.
Okay.
So then how to deal with the crisis? So the first thing is research. So we want to know, why are these people saying what they're saying? We want to ask a few of them, what's the problem? We want to read through the comments and say, oh, okay, they're complaining about this, they're complaining about this, they're complaining about that.
For sure.
Then the second thing we want to do is, PR is a very historical subject.
For sure.
So essentially, we're going to look back. We're going to say, okay, who has ever had a crisis like this? What did they do in that crisis? Almost like a case study. And then we're going to break down, okay, what is the strategy and what are we going to do? So I'll use an example. It's very famous right now. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Scott's, but he's having a really bad PR crisis. They don't want him to perform. The people are just staring at him. People are just ignoring him. You know, it's really bad. So I think in his case, if I were his PR manager, although I was going to run away now because it's bad.
The fire is burning.
The fire is burning. But I think it might be a bit drastic, but his situation seems a bit drastic. But I've seen overseas, what they did was they hosted this huge event for free to kind of apologize, like, yo guys, I'm sorry, let me host a free event. I'm going to bring 10 of my other famous friends and you guys are going to have a free event to the first 10,000 people
for sure
that sign up. Best believe they will forgive you.
Oh, for sure.
Say Scott says, listen, I'm going to book out where and where, I'm going to give back and this is what I'm going to do, gives a few giveaways, says, you know what, I'm really sorry, makes an official press release, official press statement, has maybe a time where he speaks to the crowd and apologizes, does the whole shebang.
He has to.
I think they'll forgive him,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, but essentially that's how I would deal with a PR crisis.
Hey, guys, I hope you're listening there because, hey, we need some music, so don't more share it. But now, just to, start slowing down and, since we're getting to the end, I just have a couple, let's say, few questions just for you to share last bits of knowledge before you leave. So just go along with the scenario with me. So you go to bed and then you wake up tomorrow in a place you don't know, no one knows you, you don't have a business. All you have is a laptop and a phone. How would you begin to start or rebuild? What would you do? What would be your first steps?
Do I have Wi-Fi?
Oh, for sure, yeah. Let's give it that. Let's give it that. Let's give it that.
Okay, so I have my phone and my laptop.
Yeah, but no one
Okay.
knows you. No one knows what you do. You don't have your accounts. You're literally starting from day zero.
Okay, I'm going to download my apps. So I'm
Okay.
going to download Canva.
Okay.
I'm going to download a video editing app.
For
There's
sure.
many, but I'll download a video editing app.
For sure.
I'm going to wipe my camera. I'm going to start making content.
Okay.
I am going to set up my pages.
For sure.
I'm going to let people know what I'm offering. That's where the content comes in.
For
I'm
sure.
going to start creating. I am going to definitely download a few AI apps and I'm going to ask them, how should I go about starting from scratch? Because
Okay.
why I got to think a lot? AI is
Oh,
there.
for sure.
you
It's
know?
there. Right?
So I would put that all, and then I'll start to put the strategies. I'd create a checklist. I'm a very checklist person. I see you with your book. I have tens and thousands.
Amen.
So I will make a checklist of what I need to do at each step.
Okay.
And after each step, I'll assess what's working and what's not working. So I'll be like, okay, I just posted on social media, dollar followers. Okay, what's another way that we can get followers? What's another way that we can get seen? Okay, you know what? Let me make a few calls. Do I still have my contact list?
Oh, no.
I
You
don't have
starting
my contact
from
list.
Kanda.
That's not cute.
just-
I'm going to start researching my field. So I'm going to go to Google. I'm going to say PR practitioners in South Africa. I'm going to go to Instagram, say PR, literally all the social media platforms.
For sure.
PR practitioners. Follow LinkedIn. Follow. Message. Hi, I'm starting out. What should I do? Most of them are going to ignore me.
For sure.
But the ones that don't ignore me, I'm going to take their advice. I'm going to go onto YouTube. I'm going to research. I'm going to do as much research as possible. And then I'm going to keep executing my plan until hopefully I get to even half of where I am
Something.
now. Like, damn, I'm starting from scratch. It's scary.
You're
But
starting
if you
from
got to
scratch.
do it, you got to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for all of you starting from zero, guys, you have some tips there. So don't be afraid to start from zero because we all started from zero somewhere.
Yes,
Now we have a last one. It might sound dark, but just roll with me.
Okay.
Cool. So you die, not now, in your 80 years.
Yes.
But now all your content, all the stuff you've ever done, all your work, it disappears. All you can do is leave 3 words of wisdom or 3 quotes for people to remember from you. What would they be?
Oh my God. That's not the word. That's not the words.
Yeah, no, it's dark.
Just like, everything is gone.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. 3 words.
3 words, 3 quotes, anything.
Okay. 1, life is always working for you and not against you. So even if you were to land on that island and you have to start again, the universe, whoever you believe in, I believe in God,
Amen.
had a reason as to why he wanted you to start again.
Amen.
So that would be the first quote. The second quote is, I might be getting it wrong, but it's basically something about you're only as inferior as you believe. So if I wake up, listen, if I woke up, I don't know, in like the most worst, slowest village in the world, no Wi-Fi, no phone, no anything. But I sit in that village and I tell myself, I am going to be a PR practitioner. And I'm delusional about it. And I keep telling myself, the ways of the wolves will make a way for me to get there.
Amen.
So I think it's very important that you believe that you are superior in what you believe you're doing, you know. Never let an inferiority complex get to you.
For sure.
And then the third and last one, very cliche, but I have to. It just popped in my head, and I won't go against it. But it always seems impossible until it's done. Nelson Mandela.
Oh,
But it always
Izinja.
seems impossible until it's done. So never feel like it's impossible. I think all my quotes practically align. I'm telling you, just have faith.
It's never
Money.
impossible. And that's all you need.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming
Thank you so
on.
much for Malala.
It was such amazing to have a conversation, laid back, making jokes.
Thank you.
And I hope all of you guys on the podcast are having fun and enjoyed. And guys, please don't forget to check her out on Instagram and LinkedIn. Would you like to give your Instagram handle so people can follow you?
Imani Ndaba on all social media handles.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. So guys, from the Collaborator Hub podcast, signing out. And Make sure to like, share, subscribe. Have a great one, guys.